Hello everyone, I'm going to go over my level 97 Witch Necromancer. It has cold-based zombies and skeletons. The full DPS of this build, with nothing going or no boss tick, is 47.6 million full DPS. I'm going to jump into the talent tree right quick and explain to you how I would level it. Then I'm going to go over everything else as good as possible. If you see anything wrong with the video, please let me know. The PoB will be in the description and at the end of the video for the explanation of the path of building. I'm going to go into some maps and do some maps. I don't have much in the way of bosses right now, but I'll see what I could do. Alright, let's begin. The first nodes I would get is Lord of the Dead and Death Attunement. Lord of the Dead and Death Attunement are going to give you more to raise zombies, more skeletons, and a Spectre. Then I go and get Sacrifice. Sacrifice is going to give your minions health regeneration, you health regeneration, your minions more health. Really good at keeping your minions alive with Sacrifice. Then I'm going to go down and I'm going to get Grave Pack. Ignore the minion offense mastery next to Grave Pack until at the end of the build. But what it is it's 20% increased effective offerings. You could use it when you get offerings, but I would not do it until late end game to get this mastery. While you're going to get Grave Pack, you're going to be getting a lot of armor, energy shield, and just about a lot of good stuff that's going to help you level. After you get that, you're going to go and get Redemption. Redemption is more damage for your minions. After that, it's going to be Sovereignty, and your first order that you're going to want to keep on you while leveling is Purity of Elements. Purity of Elements makes you immune to elemental ailments, which is very important while leveling and endgame. And it gives you a lot of resist. So the first buff that you want to have, or aura, is going to be Purity of Elements. After that, you are going to get your health nodes, and that is Purity of Flesh, Heart and Soul. So after you get the health nodes, then you are going to get this small little armor node that gives you health regeneration, more max life, and 20 increased armor. After that, you're going to get your block chance. And the block chances are Steelward Stance and Whirling Barrier. You're going to pick up both of the staff masteries. One is increased defenses while wielding the staff by 30%, and the other one is 2% energy shield and life when blocking with the staff. Then, after that, you are going to go and get the curse nodes. Malicious Intent increases the curses that you have equipped by +2, and the other one is Steeped in the Profane. I am also using Mind Over Matter and Eldritch Battery. Eldritch Battery makes it to where your energy shield protects your mana, and it becomes mana as well. This is going to allow you to summon skeletons at a crazy rate, so you're never going to have to worry about mana while summoning skeletons. Mind Over Matter is damage is taken from mana before life. So when you have Eldritch Battery going, you're going to have more mana, so this is going to become even more effective for your effective hit pool. Then you're going to get the Cluster Jewels. The Cluster Jewel is a Vicious Bite. Vicious Bite is the best passive skill that you could get for the cluster. It's a 12 passive skills. The small passive skills is wrong. You could get a higher increased effect, the 35, or you could get another small passive to your liking or your choice. But this only cost me 10 Chaos Orbs, so it was not expensive at all. Now, the other Cluster Jewel has Fasting and Spike Concoction. What Fasting does is it increases your movement speed while under no effects of flasks. so you're running faster. And it also increases your flash charges gained by 20%. Spike Concoction is 5 increased attack speed and cast speed, which helps you put your curses up against bosses. And then gain Alchemist's Genius when you use a flask. Alchemist Genius is going to increase the rate of your flask recovery. So it's really good. Now I'm going to go over to Ghastly Eye Jewels. You do not need a gaze for this build, so don't worry about it. That's like a huge currency drop for this build, but there is a huge currency item in the build, unfortunately, and I'll go over it later. The Ghastly Eye Jewels that you're looking to get are going to have minions deal increased damage if you use the minion skill recently. This stat can go from 15 to 20%. Then you're going to look for minions deal cold damage, fire damage, or lightning damage. And then you could get whatever stat you want. Those stats are going to be really easy to get. I got all my Ghastly Eye Jewels for this build for like about 20 chaos. Very inexpensive and really, really good. The Forbidden Flame and the Forbidden Flesh are going to be Void Beacon. And Void Beacon, I will explain in just a minute, but it cost me about 16 divine to get both of them. The Watcher's Eye has cast resist while affected by Purity of Elements, and you have phasing while hasted. These are both really great stats, and try to get it, and it won't cost you that much. It should only go for about 2 to 3 divine orbs. Now I'm going to go into the Ascendancies really fast, and your first stop on your Ascendancies is going to be Commander of Darkness. It increases you and your allies' attack speed by 3% for every aura that you have. So it's really good. And it also increases nearby allies increased damage. So your zombies, your skeletons are going to get increased damage as well. And one of the best things about this is that it increases your elemental resist by 30 as well. So that's really significant. So you're going to have Purity of Elements increasing your resists, and then you're going to have Commander of Darkness increasing your resist. And you're going to be immune to elemental ailments. So it's a huge bump while leveling. It's going to help a lot. Then you're going to get Mindless Aggression, and then you're going to get Bone Barrier, which increases your physical damage reduction and your recovery rate of life and energy shield, which is really good. And it's based off of how many minions you have by you. And the max that you could only get is 10 minions, so it doesn't really matter how many minions you have close to you. As long as you have 10, Bone Barrier will be maxed out. And it also gives you a buff called Bone Armor that gives you a damage shield for about 2,200 to 2,400 damage that negates all your damage that you take. Then the last one is going to be Unnatural Strength, which makes your minions have Unholy Might. Unholy Might grants you 30% of physical damage as extra cast damage. It's a nice damage increase. So that goes over the talent tree. Gonna go over the skills really quick. I went over Bone Armor. You get Bone Armor from your Ascendancies. This is turned on. If you want to turn it off and see how much effective hit pool you have, it's about 50. But I'm going to go over the effective hit pool as well in the items, because you have a special item that's going to make you a lot more durable than you realize, than it's already showing. So I'm just going to keep that on because I am using it. You have 3 Spectres, and the Spectres are put in the Hungry Loop. And what the Hungry Loop does, it gives Socketed Gems, Socketed Gems are supported by 4 different gems. So at the moment, my Ray Spectres are giving me Feeding Frenzy, Meat Shield, Elemental Army Support, and they are getting Minion Light. You do not need to put this into the Path of Building because it already recognizes the Hungry Loop. They are adding the full DPS, and you're going to have 3 Ray Spectres. And the Ray Spectres that you are going to be using, you're going to be using 2 different Ray Spectres. And I'm going to put them in really quick. You are going to be using Carnage Chieftains that give you frenzy charges, and then you are going to be using Host Chieftains that give you power charges. And these both are going to be in the configuration as well, and I will go over it again. You have Vaal Skeletons, and you have 10 skeletons. And then you have Awaken Elemental Damage with attacks, 1 divine if that. Awaken Melee Physical Damage, 1 divine or less. Multi-Strike, different variant, 1 divine or less. Awaken Elemental Focus, 1 divine or less. And then you have Awaken Minion Damage, 1 divine or less. So it's going to be about 6 divine or less. And the Vaal Summoning Skeletons level 21 is very expensive. So try to get a level 20, which is going to be much cheaper than the actual level 21 Vaal Summoning Skeletons. But I will be using the Vaal Summoning Skeletons level 21 gem, so I'm going to keep that ticked. And when you actually do use Vaal Summoning Skeletons with this build, your full DPS goes nutty. So I'm going to tick it really quick. And the full DPS jumps to 70 million while using Vaal Summoning Skeletons. With it at 20, it is 65 million. I'm going to untick it because that's not a fair representation of the damage that the build is going to be doing, because you cannot always be using Vaal Summoning Skeletons. Now you have 10 raised zombies, and you're using default zombies, gem level 21, which is going to be cheap. It's going to be probably less than like about 20 cast orbs if I'm correct. Then you have Awakened Minion Damage less than a Divine. Empowered 4, which is expensive, but you could always use Empowered 3. And it is about a 2 million DPS decrease, so that's going to save you a lot of currency, so make sure you use it. I'm not entirely sure if you lose a zombie if you go to Empowered 3. I apologize, but for sake of telling you, I'm letting you know that the Empower 3 is going to be a lot cheaper. It's probably going to be a Divine to 3 Divines. For sake of the build, I'm going to leave it at 4. Awaken Elemental Damage with attacks, less than a Divine. Awaken Melee Physical Damage, probably a Divine or less. And then a Multi-Strike different variant is going to be a Divine or less. You're not looking for the actual gem level for this multi-strike variant, you're looking for the quality of it. I'm just going to change it to 20 when I post it. Now I'm going to go over the helmet. The helmet has Summon Skitterbots, different variant. You have Bone Chill, different variant. You have Hatred, the Aura, and then you have Awaken Generosity, Awaken, which is less than a Divine or a Divine. So I'm not sure about these other two. I believe that the different variant Summon Skitterbots is going to be expensive. So I'm going to leave it out, and I'm going to leave out the different variant for Bone Chill, and it's a DPS decrease, but it's not a significant DPS decrease. I also added 2 Summoning Skitterbots into the full DPS. What other ones do I have? Oh, I have the gloves that has Desecrate, which allows you to summon Spectres, zombies, and allows you to put on Spirit Offering, the offering that you're going to be using for this build. I have a Summon Ice Golem and a Culling Strike that goes with the Ice Golem, and then I have Haste. I am not using Vaal Haste because I want to be able to use Vaal Summoning Skeletons more. And what happens if you have 2 Vaals going, you are sharing, I don't know, I'm just going to call it blood. So whenever you're killing stuff, it's sharing between both Vaals on. So I don't want to have Vaal Haste, I want to just have Haste. This is included into the full DPS because Culling Strike kills enemies under 10% life, and which is very, very good. The Ice Golem, you may be wondering why I have all green gems right here. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but the item I'm using to make my minions do cold-based damage needs you to have all 4 green sockets into the gloves, and I will go over that too in a minute in items. And then where's the last one? And then the last one is the boots. I have Purity of Elements, which is huge. Then I have an Elemental Weakness, a curse. Then I have Frostbite, a curse. you're going to be hard casting Elemental Weakness and Frostbite to make sure that it has the highest potency or damage that you could get from them. And then you have Spirit Offering, and you have to cast this as well. You're going to have to cast it quite a bit during maps and during boss fights. It increases minions' and critical strike chance and their critical strike multiplier. Really good. It's a very high damage buff. Alright, I'm going to go over items. And the items, I'm going to go over the weapon first, the Cane of Kulmak. And I've seen this item go from anywhere from 6 to 40 divine. So I can't really tell you how much it's going for. But I'm going to tell you right now that it is the best weapon in the game for zombies, golems, and skeleton builds. Maybe not skeleton builds, but golems and zombies. And I'll tell you why. The reason why this staff is so good is because it has damage, increased attack speed, and increased cast speed. But the real huge thing about this item is that it has increased maximum life for your minions. And it's really, really high. So this is going to keep your minions alive and making them do tons of damage. So try to get it. You do not need to have the +3 Socketed Support Gems and the quality of Socketed Support Gems to make this build work. I don't have one to actually show you how much damage it'll be doing. It's going to be a lot of damage, but to let you know, you could probably get an extremely cheap one without the +3, the level of Socketed Support Gems. The helmet doesn't have an enchant, and I'm going to let you know the enchants that you're looking for. The enchants you're looking for are zombies, increased attack speed, attack damage, as well as skeletons, or you're going to want to get, that's about it. Or if you're having mana reservation efficiency problems, you could always get Hatred or Summoning Skitterbots to help you with that. Okay, then I have the Brass Dome on. The Brass Dome was about 3 divine, and I got all white sockets with it. I got all white sockets because I don't really like messing around trying to get all the color sockets for my chest with this build, and it'd be really hard. And I thought that this chest would work best for the build because it lacked some efficiency hit pool, and I was trying to beef it up as well. What the chest does is it increases all your maximum elemental resists. Make sure that you get a +5% for that. Your strength does not provide any max life, so that doesn't really hurt. And you take no extra damage from critical strikes, which is really cool. The Triad Grip is all green sockets, and what that does is it makes all your cold damage, it makes all your minions damage cold. So this was only 20 Chaos Orbs. The boots cost me 3 divine. I was looking for a lot of dexterity, a lot of max life, and increased movement speed. You could definitely get whatever stats you want on your boots. Here's the problem with the build right here. It's the actual item to make your haste no reservation. You could also use this to make your hatred no reservation or your purity of elements no reservation. Whichever variant you could get cheapest will be best, but this one cost me 30 divine when I actually got it. And the Whispers of Doom is going to cost you about 150 Chaos Orbs to get. So this is really the big ticket item in the build, as long as this with the staff as well. There's another big ticket item too, unfortunately, but try to get the cheapest one you can. Again, the other variants you could get for this amulet are Hatred or Purity of Elements. The Hungry Loop, it has Feeding Frenzy, Meat Shield, and Minion Life. And what happens is when you put a gem inside the Hungry Loop, it gets the socketed gems are supported by level whatever from the gem, which was really cool to get Feeding Frenzy, Meat Shield, and more life on my Spectres. The ring is a dime a dozen. I have really good stats on it. You could definitely follow the stats on my ring, and it is a very significant amount of damage. I have a belt that costs me about 5 divine, and it's optimized very, very well. You could definitely use whatever belt you want. You could use Mother's Embrace and change all your flasks to damage if you want. The belt is just whatever. You could use whatever belt that you want in this build. I went over the jewels earlier, the ghastly eye jewels. I'm using the blood because I like it the best because it recovers full life at the end of the effect. After 2.7 seconds, it increases your life to full, and it has really good life recovery on it as well. Here's another item that's expensive right now. When I got this flask, it was only 2 divine. Right now, I looked it up. It's going for about 8.5 divine, unfortunately. And what it does is when hit during the effect, 25% of your life loss from damage taken occurs over 4 seconds instead. This item is huge. I cannot stress how important this flask is. You don't need it, but it's going to make your survivability and your effective hit pool much greater. Then I have the flask that increases your block and spell block chance. Then a quicksilver for movement speed, and then the bottled faith, so I can get creatures on consecrated ground when I use it. You could definitely use whatever flask you want in the last one, or not use it at all if you want to use a mage blood. I went over the ghastly eye jewels and everything, so I'm gonna go over the configuration. You kill all the bandits. You're using the major god that increases your physical damage reduction and your movement speed with nearby enemies by up to 8%. It also has other qualities to it too, but I really don't pay attention to it, but you could definitely get those and it'll help a lot. I'm using the minor god that does not allow you to be affected by bleeding while moving. Now your minions have power charges from the host chieftains, and that increases your damage for your minions. You have frenzy charges for your minions from Carnage Chieftains. You have Alchemist Genius going, yes, because you have it on a cluster jewel. Are flasks active? Yes. You have 24 summoned minions by you. This doesn't need to be 24. I'm just giving you the specific number of how many you actually have by you. So I actually think it's 24 or 25. I'm not sure. I might be wrong about the number. But really all that matters is that you have 10 by you. Are you on consecrated ground? Yes, because you have bottled faith going. Nearby enemies is 8, and that's important for the major god. Have you been hit recently? Probably. Have you blocked recently? Probably. Have you used a minion skill recently? Yes. The minion skill that you're using is Bone Offering. And the number of corpses that can actually be consumed, I believe, is 5. I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it is. Is Feeding Frenzy active? Yes. Your Spectres are giving it to you. Is an enemy near you? Yes. And you have Meat Shield from the Hungry Loop from your Spectres. And then, is the enemy chilled? Yes, because you have Skitterbot. Is the enemy shocked? Yes, you have it by Skitterbot. These don't really do anything. I'm just ticking them to do it. Is the enemy intimidated? Yes. Your zombies and your skeletons are intimidating the creatures with awakened melee physical damage. Is the enemy on consecrated ground? Yes, you're using the bottled faith from flasks. Now I'm going to go over the efficient hit pool and the full DPS of every phase or boss phase in the game. Right now it is set to nothing, and your efficient hit pool is 74,000, and you have 40 around rounded up 45 million full DPS. On a standard boss, you have 58.5 thousand effective hit pool, and you have 36.4 million full DPS. Guardian Pinnacle boss, you have 42,000 efficient hit pool, and you have 34.3 million full DPS. And then last but not least, you have Uber Pinnacle boss, and you have 38,000 efficient hit pool, and you have 10 million.3 full DPS. And that goes over the talent tree, skills, items, and configurations. I'm going to jump in the game and start doing some maps to show you how the build works and try to explain what's going on. I'm going to clear some space really quick. Alright, I do not have any alchemy orbs, so let me go buy some alchemy orbs really quick so I could juice the maps a little bit. Alright, here we go. Buy some alchemy orbs. There we go. Excellent. Now I got some alchemy orbs. Now I could show you some maps. I have the Elder and I have the Shaper fights, but I don't think that they really demonstrate how good the build is or how much damage you're doing. I might just throw the Elder in there really quick to show you. I'll do this map, and I'll do that map. Alright. Alright. So I got 3 semi-juice maps, and I will begin them now. I'm going to be explaining what's going on. As you can see, I have 10 zombies. I have a ice golem up that's doing calling strike and giving me his buff as well. I believe it's accuracy and crit chance. 3 specters, and I have 2 summon skitterbots. And you hardcast summoning skeletons. Alright. Just going through the map. Make sure you try to keep up Spirit Offering all the time. I know it's hard because it's such a short buff, but try to keep it going. I also have in a talent tree, I also have some, I didn't go over them, I realized, is that I have some flash recovery nodes going too on the talent tree, which increases the amount of, like, the speed of you actually getting your flask back up. You want to make sure that you have your flask going all the time. That's why I have Alchemist Genius fasting, and I have the nodes on the talent tree going to make sure that I always have these flasks going, because one of them is going to make you really, really hard to kill. Alright. You're going to have some mana problems because you have Mind Over Matter as well. What that does is it uses the energy shield and the mana that you have on your character to protect you, which increases your effective hit pool. So, unfortunately, you might not have some mana sometimes because it's protecting you, but that's not a big deal in the whole scheme of things. You'd rather want to be alive than dead, of course. Alright, here comes the boss. And he is dead. He gone. He gone. Alright, I'll do this canyon map really fast. The bosses are possessed. Alright, I'll pop this delirium there. As you can see, my mana or my energy shield that's giving me mana is gone sometimes because of Mind Over Matter, but it's better to be alive than dead. And your minions should be able to make really quick work of these creatures even without you having your skeletons going the whole time. You're gonna have Vaal summoning skeletons up a lot. I'm gonna pop it really quick just to show you. This is a huge DPS increase in your build. Oh, I was standing on gray damage chaos. We got a layer. Alright. Just going through the map, nice and easy. You want to try to keep up Spirit Offering going all the time, which increases your minions' damage a lot. Alright, everything is looking good. The delirium is not killing me. Medium cluster. Alright, the boss should be coming up pretty soon, or I should say bosses. Here they are. I'm pretty sure they're here. Really, what I wanted to do with this build was to make sure that I could always have my flask going, which I think is really important. You want to curse the bosses too, because that's a lot of damage coming in. on your build from curses. I don't use curses when I'm doing trash or normal monsters. There's really no need to because your minions will kill them fast enough. So making sure that you actually have the curses going on bosses will help. You probably don't even need to do it. The curses are usually going to be used for pinnacle bosses or guardian bosses. There's really no need to actually use the curses. The way you play with this build, you could play a lot more defensive than I am. I like to rush in and attack. I don't really like to back down or like give any ground to creatures when I'm playing. So if you want to play a lot more defensive, you can, which is no problem, and you'll probably survive a lot. You should be able to level pretty good with this build. Stuff a lot. Alright, I'm gonna log back in. I'll start a new map too. So we get this. Well, I think I died as well when I crashed. Alright. I'll just restart it. I'm gonna restart this map. I'll just go a different way to make the mod and like show you how good it is or how well it is. Alright. I'm trying to keep Spirit Offering going all the time because it increases the damage of my minions a lot. I'm not using my curses. I don't think there's a need to. If you feel like there's a need to use your curses, then by all means use your curse. On this build, you could use any belt that you want. You could use Mother's Embrace. You could use the belt that gives your mana, that gives your flash to zombies. Whatever belt you want to use is okay. I just use one with really good stats. With a Abyssal socket in there for more damage. I believe the belt has flask recovery or life health flask recovery, which helps a lot. Alright. The boss room is coming up. I'm going to spawn my Vaal Skeletons on them. Curse them. Summon my skeletons. And he should be dead. Alright. That was the boss. Like, the one thing I don't really like, I don't like about Vaal Skeletons is that if there's a lot of mobs, like, by the Vaal summoning skeletons, they'll just go all over the place. They don't really focus fire on anything. One other thing I believe I forgot to go over on this build is how one of the ascendancies, or the Flame and Flesh ascendancy, works, and it's called Void Beacon. Void Beacon decreases the amount of cold and chaos resist by negative 20%. But the thing is, it also stops creatures from regenerating. So what happens is you have to be close by the creatures or bosses that you're fighting in order for it to work. I am not using Bottled Faith either, unfortunately, and I apologize for that. I have Soul Catcher on right now. I'll change that after this map. If you feel like you're having too many mana problems as well with this build and you're not able to summon your skeletons, you could always go in and turn off Mind Over Matter. I'll turn it off right now. And this was the Essence Extraction, is the one that increases your flash charges gain. I forgot to go over it, and I also have the Mastery that gives your utility flash +1 charge every 3 seconds. I'm just gonna put this point over here. And I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna get the bottle of faith really fast and replace the soul catcher flask. I really apologize for that. Okay, where is the bottle of faith? It's so distinctive looking too. There it is. Alright, that's switched. Now I'm back into the map. Does it got the right? Yeah, it's got the right enchant on it. Really, you should have your flask going 100% of the time while doing a map because of the stuff I put on the build. So you should never be without a flask if you're going through the map fast enough, which is really good and really important too, because you want to have your flask going the whole time that you're doing a map, because one of them makes you practically immune to everything. Like, it saves your life while doing it. It's Vaal summoning cursed. Is he not going to do anything? He's dead before doing anything. Alright, do a couple more maps. I'll do this map really fast. So you want to make sure Spirit Offering is going. You got, that's a buff that you have to use with dead corpses. That's why I also have this Desecrate. Like I said before, oh, this should be fun. I just activated the Breach. Now I'm just killing it. Just mowing stuff down, nice and easy. The flasks are staying active the whole time, which is really important. Alright, some more. Yes. Alright, I'm making a video now. I'll be cooking pretty soon, so you guys know that. I'll do like 1 or 2 more maps and then I'll do the Elder fight, and that'll be the end of the video. Spirit Offering, Skeletons, and your flash should be active all the time. Vaal summoning Skeletons, Curse, and he gone. Ooh, cool, I got a Guardian map. I'll do that really quick. Guardian maps are harder because there's an increased amount of monsters for me when I do them, so there's a possibility of me dying. Alright, here we go. We got the museum map. Not having to take the full damage of anything with that flash, that's really expensive, helps a great deal while doing maps, and it makes you really survivable. Because your minions should be able to kill everything fast enough to where the damage is not going to be extreme enough for them to kill you with that flash going. This is a different type of map layout. This is like a bunch of small rooms and rooms connected. And it's definitely a different map type than the last couple of ones that I did. You always got to take a map layout into effect when making a build, and I believe that this build should be able to do all of them just fine. Alright, just going through everything. I'm gonna save the Vaal summoning Skeletons for the last boss. And I believe it is the Redeemer. This map is really hard to find boss rooms sometimes because you have to lift a candle up in order to see the door open and go into the boss room. Got burning ground in this map too. I really don't like burning ground. Alright, just crushing this stuff. Watch, I'm gonna die really soon after saying that. Alright, is this the boss room connector? No, it's not. Ugh. Alright. I'm saying alright a lot. I'm gonna avoid the spawn right there. I just want to go to the boss room and kill the boss right now. Alright, here's the candle. Boss room, take him out. Gonna save Vaal summoning skeletons for the Redeemer. He's debuffed and my summoning skeletons are going. Alright, I got that. Make a portal just in case if I die. I'm gonna zone out and zone back in because I want to have all my flasks active for the boss. Oh. Alright, here we go. Gonna summon my skeletons. Put up bone offering. Everything is going. She's debuffed. And she didn't die. Ugh. She's gonna land on the ground. There she is. And she's dead. Oh, cool. Oh, the burning ground got me. Alright, I'm gonna do the, go back in and grab my loot. Oh, a lot of my zombies died. That's what took so long for her to die. Alright. I'm gonna resummon my zombies really quick. What?
Everything's set up.
Alright. Alright, here we go. I'll do the spider forest as well really quick. I want to make sure you guys get a good look at the build, see if you want to play it or not. Try to get the spirit offering going as fast as possible, and then just rip through creatures. This build focuses a lot on high DPS. The effective hit pool is not very high, but what I tried to do to combat that was to make sure that I actually have the flasks going all the time, and making sure your kill speed is good enough to keep them on. Because one of your flasks makes the damage over time. So when you take damage, the flask makes your damage go from 4 seconds after you take the damage. So it's going to be really hard for your build to actually get killed, because you have a health flask and you have that flask going all the time, and your effective hit pool is very nice. Alright. Where is that boss room? Where's the buzzer? It must be over here. Sometimes your flask won't be up when you actually are moving around a lot without any monsters around, so make sure you pay attention to that. Your flash should be able to be used when that happens though. I cannot find that boss room. Okay, there it is. He gone, or should I say she gone. Alright, here comes the Elder. Just get the Elder out of the way and the video will be done. I do Shaper, but the Shaper is such a long-winded fight and really boring. Alright, if I die against the Elder, it's going to be at the start of the fight. I might have enough DPS to burn her before she does anything though. Let me see. Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna die. Just taking the portals down. This is a really easy fight. I just wanted to show you guys how well it works against the Pinnacle boss. I don't really know if this is that big of a show, like a vulgar display of power, but the beginning of the fight was a good indication of how much burst DPS this build has. She wasn't even able to do anything before I took her down to the next phase. Nice and easy with this build. Elder's nice and easy. She should be spawning again pretty soon. And pop my Vaal Skeletons for it. There she is. And she's gone. Go stand by the lady. And that's it. Alright, everyone. Thank you everyone for watching. Be safe, be careful, because you never know what's going to happen. And always be careful and safe. And until next time, have a nice day. Please show some support and sub please if you like my content. And thank you again. Bye everyone. Hope to see you in the next video or watch the next video.